keeping this situation under control. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs in Delhi has conducted high-level meetings and has put contingency plans into place. Alternate evacuation routes are being activated. The External Affairs Ministry control room is being expanded and made operational 24/7 to assist students and other Indian nationals stranded in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the economy has been impacted instantly in India and all over the world. The Sensex here in India has crashed dramatically over 2,000 points. The Nifty has also fallen over 500 points. Investors have lost over 7.5 lakh crore rupees of value within minutes of the market's opening. Crypto has fallen up to 10% as Russia begins this invasion of Ukraine. Gaurav and Rajesh in Mariupol, the city that's in the spotlight right now with its airport apparently on fire. Some kind of an attack has taken place. Tanks appear to be rumbling across the border into Mariupol. Gaurav is speaking to citizens on the ground. We'll have him in a moment. Rajesh, anything you're hearing? People on the ground who Gaurav was speaking to, appear to be in a state of confusion. There is a bit of panic as well about what to do next.
Listen, Shiv, Ukrainians or Russians, they are very strange people from Indian point of view.
Yeah.
You will find them in a lot of panic and stress, and they can laugh at the same time. But there is very visible panic here on the faces. I am right now outside the supermarket in the center of the city. People are queuing up to buy stuff. Even the supermarkets have raised the prices of food prices, have been raised in the supermarkets. People are buying euros and dollars. There are long queues. And they are buying it at double the price of what it was yesterday. People never had too much of faith here in the local banking system or in the local currency, but it is gone today. They know their money will be lost. So they are queuing up outside, trying to withdraw as much euro or dollar as they can. As far as military situation is concerned, I have not yet received any reports of any ground invasion in Donbass. No Russian ground forces have moved inside Donbass as per my information so far. They were bombing of the Mariupol airport in the morning. It is out of operation for sure. Mariupol airport is out of operation. And as per my information, most of the major airports in Ukraine as of now have been put out of operation by Russian strikes. So airspace is totally closed. People around here are in panic. I can see people moving around in their cars full of groceries with their families. They may not be moving to a different city, maybe to their dacha somewhere in the nearby villages, but away from the Russian front lines. Over to you.
Need you to stay safe, Rajesh and Gaurav. It's a situation that is rapidly escalating. Panic has set in. The calm that we saw on citizens' faces only a couple of hours ago has completely evaporated. People are uncertain about what to do next. They're pulling out money. The amount of money they can pull out has been limited. There is a great deal of panic. Tanks are rolling across into their country from the Russian side. There are huge traffic jams, airports on fire, aircraft debris being spotted in different cities, lots of claims and counterclaims. I want to take our viewers through the war of claims and counterclaims. Rajesh and Gaurav continue to be with me. The war of claims between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine, for starters, claims that they have shot down 5 Russian jets. Meanwhile, Russia claims we've neutralized Ukrainian air defense completely. Ukraine says 7 Ukrainians have been killed in Russian shelling. Russia says no casualties noted in their offensive so far. Ukraine claims 6 Ukrainian airfields have been attacked by Russia, and we've just shown you one. Russia says military operations are completely on, but no details. Ukraine says 2 Russian tanks have been destroyed. Russia says no losses on the Russian side. Many more claims and counterclaims have come since then. Now, we're gonna take a very quick break. I want to show you the images that we continue to bring you from Mariupol, the city where India Today continues to be the only channel reporting from in eastern Ukraine. It's the city where videos suggest that Russian tanks are also rolling in from across the border in Russia. And the situation is rapidly escalating. Very brief break. Leaving you with these images. Gaurav, Rajesh and I join you on the other side. Stay with us. The Ukrainian ambassador to Delhi will also be with us live when you come back. Stay with us.
Crypto Watch brought to you by BitBNS.
This is Ukraine's true danger zone. This is where gun firing and artillery firing has begun. After a perilous 14-hour train journey from Kyiv, India today reports from the real war zone. Only channel in the rebel combat zone.
Barricades that have been set up, and beyond those barricades is the deployment of the Russian army.
Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone.
Deepfakes are videos modified and created by artificial intelligence which first appeared in 2017. The first method to create a deepfake involves a face swap, where the face of one person is put on the body of another. This method is relatively simple and can be done using applications that use short videos such as Snapchat, Reface or FaceMagic. The second and more complex method involves a face reenactment. An actor in a studio uses an original video of a victim's face to mimic their gestures and movements, changing their posture or facial expression. The third method uses lip syncing. The lip movements are manipulated to make a celebrity say something they never said, with a voice that mimics that of the victim or that has been created by artificial intelligence. In all three methods, the gestures, facial expressions and sometimes the voice of the victim are studied by AI, which learns the images of the original video second by second and then overlays, reproduces and edits them with other images. The greater the volume of information entered into the program, the more realistic the deepfake will be. Cinema has used this technique to make actors seem younger. Deepfakes can also be used to carry out scams. The risk of political manipulation and disinformation is also significant, especially since the face swapping method can be carried out live.
You are watching India Today.
Ukrainian President Zelensky is speaking right now after his country has been attacked by Russia. Let's listen in.
Give blood in order to save them. And we will now talk a little more about how to defend ourselves. Our future depends on our companies. We must work together for our future so that we have all of the necessary goods that we need. The Ukrainian Central Bank and the ECB has everything necessary for us to be able to protect the interests of the Ukrainian citizens. I thank all of the men and women and the politicians in Ukraine who have supported our independence. Today, we are all co-citizens in all of our countries, and we are fighting for the liberty, the freedom of our country. Be ready to defend your homes and your towns. I would like to say to you all that the decision of the National Security Council supports all of those who are ready to mobilize for our country. This morning, fellow citizens, this morning is a historic moment. However, this story is different. It is different for Russia, and it is different for Ukraine. We have had diplomatic relations with Russia, but Ukraine will not give up, will not surrender its freedom, no matter what anybody in Moscow thinks. Freedom is our supreme value. We have been attacked this morning by the Russian Federation, as well as Nazi Germany during the Second World War attacked. The Russian Federation is on the path of evil. Much depends on the Russian population. Russian citizens will have to make a choice today. What path do they want to take? Now is the time to get down into the streets and to call for an end to a war with Ukraine. And I would like to address the Ukrainian citizens in Russian, for our citizens who are Russian-speaking. I know that this information will not be transmitted on the television channels because it will be censored. But you know that nobody can censor history. My dear Ukrainian citizens, all of you, all of those who have close family members in Russia, and dear journalists, I call upon you to communicate with them, tell them the truth of what is happening. That is so important. Thank you very much. We will keep you informed with an hourly update. We will talk to our population, to our peoples, to our society. Thank you very much.
That was the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky speaking about the attack on Russia. He says Russia has attacked just like Nazi Germany has attacked. He's called it a blitzkrieg attack. The Ukrainian President Zelensky breaking his silence. First comments from the Ukrainian President following the initiation of military hostilities by Russia early this morning. The Ukrainian President saying that this is like Nazi Germany attacking. That's what it has reminded him of. Rajesh Pawar continues to be with me. Rajesh, that statement there, that message there from the Ukrainian President asking, declaring that his country is under attack, very much like a Nazi Germany attack by Russia at this point of time. He's appealed to the citizens of Ukraine to be brave, to be calm. What did you make of that, Rajesh?
Listen, as I said, this war is not just about military. It has many facets to it, and one is propaganda and trying to keep the morale up. Russians have been calling the current Ukrainian regime as Nazis. You have heard of Azov battalions with Nazis insignia and all, and Russia has been showing it all over the media. It's the same thing. Putin in the morning had appealed to the Ukrainian citizens not to obey their government, which is led by a few Nazis, and to remember that their ancestors fought against Nazis, Ukrainian and Russians both. It's the same thing, same emotion now Zelensky is trying to evoke among Ukrainians. About things in the ground, I want to show you something very interesting. All the cars you're standing behind me, if you have heard of the iconic car brand of Russia, Lada, they are all Ladas here now. Till yesterday, we could see a lot of Renaults, Volkswagen, all European cars. Now they've all vanished. Only Lada here. Because Ukrainians know if the Russians move in, if you own a Lada, you are a Russian supporter. Otherwise, if you have European brands with you, maybe you are not. And I'm very surprised. This is an indication they are expecting Russia to move in, Russian forces to move in, which are just a few kilometers away from here. But let me confirm it to you, as per my sources, till now there is no land forces movement. The ground forces have not moved forward in this area so far. Over to you, Shiv.
And the significance of the attack happening today, today happens to be Defender of the Fatherland Day in Russia. Many metaphors also coming into play, Rajesh. Like you just pointed out, the metaphor of Nazi Germany being used, the many symbols being invoked for today being a choice for the day of attack. Today is the Defender of the Fatherland Day, February 23rd, which was yesterday, which is when the attack actually happened, started in Russia. All of these things also holding some significance, apparently.
Is it efficient to me?
Yes, Rajesh.
Hello?
Yes, Rajesh, that was for you.
Hello?
Rajesh,
Hello?
can you hear me? That was for you. That question was for you.
All right. I have a veteran here with me who wants to say something. Putin huilo, Ukraine vivat. He says we will take care of Putin and Ukraine will live long. Did you hear me?
Yes, we heard that.
Okay, and I want to tell you something about military development here. What my analysis is, Putin is moving like a tiger on its prey, step by step. They will not move into a large-scale land invasion straight away. Today it was a messaging, it was a signal that pressure has been created and they will wait how Ukraine and the world community responds to that. It is moving step by step and they will escalate it step by step. And yes, sure.
Rajesh, any word on these tanks? We're trying to corroborate these images. Like you said, it's very difficult to, make sense of some of the propaganda images that might be coming out. But these are images that are apparently from Mariupol themselves. Now, we do know that the airport has been attacked. But what about these tanks that we're seeing in these pictures? I don't know if you're able to see them, but images of tanks, videos shot from on top of the tanks as well, that appear to be moving in the Donbass region.
Shiv, the airport at Mariupol was bombed today morning at around 7 a.m. local time, and it is out of operation. As far as ground troops and tanks are concerned, I have my friend here who is a platoon commander just 3 kilometers away from the border. He has confirmed it to me. I can't name him, that there has been no movement whatsoever from Russian side of the ground troops, including tanks so far, not in this region at all. This is confirmed.
Not from this region? You're confirming that they're not from this region, they're from elsewhere?
No, they are not from Mariupol region. As I told you, the presence of Ukrainian military on this frontier is very thin. We saw it yesterday. We went right till the Russian front lines. Presence of Ukrainian army on this front is quite thin. And if Russia decides to roll in, they will be here in the center of Mariupol in 2 hours. That's my assessment.
Okay, if they are in Mariupol, that they will reach within 2 hours. That's a very unsettling, very disturbing prospect. Mariupol is a large city, Rajesh. We have seen people spilling out, with their bags, their baggage, their children getting into their cars, Lada cars, as you pointed out, trying to move out. Is there a sense that people might try to leave the country as well, like you were pointing out earlier?
See, Mariupol is not such a big city. It was basically an industrial city. Donbass was the industrial hub of Ukraine before it broke away from Ukraine in 2014. Basically, coal and steel industry. There were 2-3 big factories here, and this town was basically built around those factories for the people working in those factories. It's a medium-sized town, but as far as Donbas region is concerned, it's the second biggest town in Donbas, in Donetsk region after Donetsk itself.
Okay, so it's
People were living here in the morning, but people are not so rich here like in Kyiv or in other big cities. So they are not probably planning to leave the country, but suddenly they are moving away to other cities or to their dachas in far away in the countryside. Over to you, Shiv.
Okay, Rajesh, thanks very much for that. We'll keep coming back to you. India Today, as you can see through Rajesh and Gaurav Sawant, reporting live from the eye of the storm, the several eyes of the storm. There isn't just one epicenter now because several different places in Ukraine appear to be under attack, and India Today is reporting from each one of them. The only Indian channel to bring you non-stop coverage and voices from all sides. We spoke to Ukrainian MPs after the war began earlier today. Listen in, the only channel to speak to a whole lineup of members of parliament in Kiev. Listen in. Can you tell us what the situation is right now, Vladimir? There are claims that airstrikes are happening. The Russians claim that they've neutralized your country's air defenses. Your country claims that they've shot down Russian aircraft. Can you tell us what the factual position right now is, sir?
First of all, yes, Ukraine is under attack. And we hear the explosions in Kyiv, and we have a map of explosions. It's wide from east to west. Of course, it's the most explosion on the west. Russia made a rocket attack to military and infrastructure and airports. Right now, we had a session in the parliament, and parliament imposed the state of military. So we are going to resist. This is our land, and we will not give up. And I would like to say to Russia, they can only understand. Welcome to hell. Ukraine will never give up, and Ukraine will stay independent state. We are fighting for our independence. We are fighting for our right to choose the way of development. Ukrainians doesn't want to be a part of the so-called Russian world. So Ukrainians are a peace nation, and we didn't attack to Russia. No, not Ukraine, but Russia occupied Crimea. Russia occupied Donetsk and parts of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast and put their proxy leaders. And now Russia attacks whole Ukraine. So world never be the same, and this might be a most difficult times in the Second World War, where the world faced too. So now we understand, we have information that our borders were broken through by heavy machineries from not only from Russia but also from Belarus side, and this is the pity that Belarus joined aggressive manner of Putin and Russian Federation. So we are now staying in Kyiv and waiting parliament, working government, working, and we expect that military forces of Ukraine will give a proper answer. And already I can confirm that Russian aircraft were shot down, and we are organized, Ukrainian military, Ukrainian army organized the line of defense. We are sure that we can beat the enemy.
Sophia, can you tell us what is the situation right now in the capital of Kiev? Because there are a lot of very worrying reports that are coming in of explosions even being heard in Kiev right now.
The explosions are being heard in Kyiv, but according to official data, these were explosions on a military storage around Kyiv and approximately 100 kilometers from Kyiv. We do not exactly what were the consequences of these explosions. Not yet the television was able to show it. But as we know, all over the territory of Ukraine, especially east, south, and north, they attack the military airports and they attack the military stockpiles. So they want to make unavailable they want to disable the planes to bring more stockpiles, to bring food, to bring more weapon to different regions in Ukraine so people can protect themselves. As we know from the front line, they use the hard artillery. Also, we have a heavy shelling on the line, on the administrative border with Crimean Peninsula, and they try to get into Ukraine-controlled territory.
What's the advisory that's gone out to Ukrainians, to citizens right now? Because I'm sure they're all very, very scared. I can only imagine the thoughts that are going through them and for their family's safety as well, Sophia. Has there been any sort of advisory from perhaps the government on exactly what they should be doing to keep themselves safe?
The government says no panic for the last few weeks. But we have a lot of military and volunteers who instructed people for a long time how to act in case of the possible attack. We already got an instructions, and all the people who wanted got the instructions what to take in a special in a special bag that you need to have ready. And now people are advised to go to the safe places to withstand the air attack that might be possible over Kyiv right now. But the parliament, I think in an hour or in 2 hours, is going to have an extraordinary session, and we are going to implement the military state in the country. That means that there will be different mechanisms of the interaction. Furthermore, in the military state, the parliament works without any break.
Maria, thank you for joining us here on India Today. I hope you're safe. Our prayers are with you and the people of Ukraine at this extremely difficult time. First off, if you could tell us what's really playing out in Ukraine, particularly in Kyiv. Sitting here in India, we're getting in a number of reports of explosions, of blasts being heard in the capital as well.
Around 5 a.m. I was awake, just to, I'm sorry, but to fulfill my natural needs, let's put it this way.
Sure.
It was a coincidence that I was awake because in a couple of minutes we have heard in central Kyiv something which sounded like 2 blow-ups, massive ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then it began again with a repetition in around 20 minutes. The same happened more or less, I cannot say for sure, but from what we are getting from the media, the same happened in the eastern city of almost 2 million people, second largest city in the east of Ukraine, in Kharkiv. What we are seeing from the targets which are being analyzed right now by the military, these are the targets of the military spots. Let's say military airport next to Kharkiv, the airport of the main airport in Kiev, and a smaller one closer to the center of Kiev. People are panicking, but we're trying to be in touch and trying to calm everyone a little bit down, because panic never helps anyone. We have already the confirmed information that, from the Russian sources, that Putin decided to invade further.
And I just wanted to reassure all our viewers that the reason why everyone's watching India Today at this point of time is because we're only giving you facts from a terrible situation on the ground. Just look at the number of reporters we have. Gaurav Sawant, the only Indian reporter in Mariupol at this point of time. You'll see him in a moment. Maria Paisarenko is in the country's capital in Kyiv, reporting fearlessly from there. Rajesh Pawar, Kharkiv and Mariupol. He's been reporting from there. Incredible reportage. Rohit Sharma is our man on the ground in Washington, D.C. He's reporting on the White House and Joe Biden. Lavina Tandon is in London. She's in touch with 10 Downing Street and Boris Johnson's office. She's in touch, looking after Western Europe as well. Europe, Germany, France and other countries. So we've got a 360-degree coverage plan for you here on India Today. So I'm not surprised at all that everyone's watching India Today at this point of time for what is indeed a global crisis. It's a crisis that's impacting the world. Gaurav Sawant is there in Mariupol, the only journalist there. Gaurav, you know, we saw those long lines where you were. Images, you know, some propaganda images of tanks, rolling across the border. We don't know where it was, whether it was in Mariupol or elsewhere in, the Donetsk province. What is the current situation on the ground in terms of what people are planning to do next, Gaurav? Do you see people leaving the town, getting out, or are they staying put?
Shiv, there is panic, there is apprehension, there is fear, and people want to leave. They want to leave as quickly as possible. So we are on the high street now in Mariupol. No Russian tanks in here, but information that is coming from not very far from here, maybe just about 30 to 40 kilometers beyond, yesterday when we were reporting from those checkpoints, beyond those checkpoints is where we are told that there is now an active engagement between Ukrainian forces and the Russian forces, whether they're Russian-backed militia or Russian forces directly. That's the information that is filtering in. Point one. Point two, as soon as this information filters in, people here start panicking. They want to withdraw as much money as they can in cash, quickly rush to the nearest supermarket, buy everything they can, buy medicines, and that is why you see these long queues, and they're virtually unending queues at the ATM. This ATM has been replenished twice. If you see, those bank vehicles have come and they've replenished money in the ATM so that people can withdraw money, buy what they want, and be out of harm's way. Some of the people I spoke to, especially senior citizens, they want to leave Mariupol and get to a dacha. The Sea of Azov has a number of cottages and very beautiful cottages. Yesterday we were reporting from there, but unfortunately that area is right at the end, the enemy lines, if I may, because that is exactly where the fighting is taking place. So they cannot go to that dacha there, but they want to go to some place else where it is safe. But the airport, according to information, the airport has been bombed, the railway station is shut, buses are not plying, so they cannot move out except in their private vehicles if they can. And there too, massive traffic jams are being reported beyond the city. So such is the fear, such is the apprehension, where in the locality people are being advised, stock up and stay home, you will be safe home.
Gaurav, the panic is visible in many of the faces that you were speaking to. Some of those people have been smiling, but the images coming out of Mariupol have been, nothing short of disturbing. Tanks rolling, aircraft, the suggestion of aircraft being shot down in different parts of Ukraine. We can see military vehicles. Let's put some of those pictures on our screen. Gaurav is in the same city where many of these pictures are suggested to be coming from. Pictures, these are pictures of panic buying taking place in supermarkets in Kyiv and Kharkiv and other places. But Gaurav is reporting from Mariupol, which is in the eastern area. Gaurav, we've just heard the Ukrainian ambassador to India speak. We've just heard the Ukrainian president also speak. A great deal of symbolism in what he said. He said it's like Nazi Germany attacking Ukraine. A lot of World War II symbolism being used on both sides. You had President Putin call this operation the denazification of Ukraine, and now you have the Ukrainian president say this was like a Nazi-style attack. So basically you've got Zelensky and Putin calling each other Nazis in this war.
Indeed, and if you recall, between 1941 to 45, and a lot of memorials in this area, whether in Kiev or in Kharkiv, from where we were reporting earlier this week, they have a lot of those, memorials, anti-Nazi war memorials, where thousands and thousands of sacrifices were made by the people here. They defeated the Nazis, and when Russian President Vladimir Putin says we need to defeat the Nazis, he's saying that these ultra right-wing Azov battalion people or people close to President Zelensky, they are the ones who are running West's agenda, and they are the ones who are imposing the Ukrainian language, getting rid of the Russian language, and he's trying to demilitarize Ukraine in terms of getting the Nazis out. When President Zelensky talks about the Nazis. He talks about Germany opening the second front in the Second World War, which of course ultimately led to Germany's defeat. That battle of whether it was the battles were being fought in Stalingrad or they were being fought in Kiev or the battles that were fought near Kharkiv. In all these battles, Germany was finally bogged down by General Winter fighting alongside the Russian forces, the Soviet forces at that point of time, and that's exactly what is the apprehension or the wish on the Ukrainian side, that the Russian forces will also be defeated the way the Nazi forces were defeated. So you're absolutely right, symbolism and heavy symbolism on both sides, but fear on the street, because beyond the symbolism, President Putin will be safe, President Zelensky will be safe. It's the common man on the street who doesn't know where his next meal is going to come from, whether he's going to be working tomorrow, whether supermarkets will have stuff tomorrow, or whether we will see Russian tanks rolling down the streets on the high street where we are right now. So such is the fear, such is the apprehension here at Mariupol.
The common man, the common woman, and let's not forget the common soldier. Always it's them who pay the price of war between our politicians. Gaurav, I'm going to leave you there for the moment. Thank you very much. We'll keep coming back to you. Taking a very quick break. Our coverage is not going to slow down even for a moment, because this war doesn't appear to be slowing down. These are the images coming in from Ukraine. At least 8 images of explosions and missile attacks in different parts of the country. Claims and counterclaims of death and destruction already flowing thick and fast. Very quick break. We're back with our coverage right after this.
You are watching India Today.
मौसम खराब की वजह से दुश्मन इन्फिल्ट्रेशन करने की फिराक में है, तो हमारा एवार के अंदर एक पेट्रोलिंग का टास्क मिला है।
During the harsh winters on the line of control, most of the areas remain cut off due to the heavy snowfall. Temperature dips down to minus 20 degrees centigrade during the night. How the brave hearts of Indian Army are guarding the nation in these harsh winters. I am Ashraf Wani with video journalist Rauf Ahmed, bringing you ground report from LOC.
Grounded in journalism, on the ground reporting, only on India Today TV.
This is Ukraine's true danger zone. This is where gun firing and artillery firing has begun. After a perilous 14-hour train journey from Kyiv, India Today reports from the real war zone. Only channel in the rebel combat zone.
Barricades that have been set up, and beyond those barricades is the deployment of the Russian army.
Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone.
Vibe tonight, and it's very hard to explain and put into words because kind of within the soundtrack tells a story. All of these are hand sewn, laser cut pieces with preciosa crystal.
watching India Today.
This is Ukraine's true danger zone. This is where gun firing and artillery firing has begun. After a perilous 14-hour train journey from Kyiv, India Today reports from the real war zone. Only channel in the rebel combat zone.
Barricades that have been set up, and beyond those barricades is the deployment of the Russian army.
Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone.
You are watching India Today. You are watching India Today.
Without wasting a moment, let's get to the top 5 developments that we're tracking in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. The invasion has begun. India Today reports from ground zero. Here are the top developments. Explosions reported from various locations across Ukraine. Kharkiv and the Donbas region has witnessed big explosions. Blasts were also reported from Mariupol in the Donetsk province of eastern Ukraine after President Putin of Russia announced military operations in the country. Ukraine has claimed at least 7 persons have been killed and 9 wounded in Russian shelling just a few hours ago. Panic has spread across the country as after Putin's decision to launch that military operation in Ukraine, massive traffic jams have been seen across the streets of the capital city Kyiv as people are looking to flee. Ukraine's central bank has limited cash withdrawals from the bank accounts up to 100,000 hryvnia, that's the currency, per day. Ukraine's ambassador to India has sought Prime Minister Modi's personal intervention. He's urged Prime Minister Modi to immediately contact Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Says India has a special relationship with Russia and can play a key role in keeping this situation under control. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs in Delhi conducted a high-level meeting and has put a contingency plan of operations in place. Alternate evacuation routes are being activated. The External Affairs Ministry's control room is being expanded and made operational 24/7 to assist students and other Indian nationals stranded in Ukraine. The economy, meanwhile, globally has been impacted. Here in India, the Sensex has crashed over 2,000 points. The Nifty has also fallen over 500 points. Investors have lost over 7.5 lakh crore rupees within minutes of the market's opening. Crypto has fallen up to 10% as Russia begins this invasion of Ukraine. And like I told you, we're reporting from Ukraine, but we're also reporting from Russia, getting you voices on both sides to give you a true 360-degree view of this entire developing situation. There's conflict. It has become a shooting war. The kinetic combat aspect of this conflict has already broken out. The images are dramatic. The voices are unsettling. We've shown you what's happening in Ukraine. Let's get a perspective from Russia now. Alexander Bratursky is a senior analyst from Moscow. Tatiana Kukaneva is a journalist also joining me live from Moscow. Tatiana, to you first. Welcome to you both. Thank you for your time on this, at a time of great uncertainty, for Russia and Ukraine as far as this crisis is concerned. Many claims are being made, Tatiana, with the Ukraine government saying that many Russian troops have been killed in action, 5 or 7 Russian aircraft have been shot down. Many such claims are being made. Can you give us your perspective of where things are at from the Russian side?
Well, look, it's not just claims from the Ukrainian side. It's, for instance, your coverage. You're saying an invasion has begun. An invasion, by definition, means an invasion by an army. So that means actual boots on actual ground. In the meantime, the Ministry of the Russian Federation has repeatedly stated that there are no boots on Ukrainian ground. All of the precision strikes are made from a distance, and the only things that are being targeted are military targets, are military objects, airfields, armories, etc. We've stated time and time again that the civilian population is not being targeted and will not be targeted. It is not an invasion, it's a military operation and an attempt to demilitarize Ukraine and to stop aggression on the regions that were recognized as independent by Russia on Monday.
Can you detail for us a little bit more, Tatiana, the nature of these operations? The images coming out of Ukraine suggest exactly what you're saying. There are no images of boots on the ground. There have been some, stray images of tanks rolling across borders. But like we've repeatedly said here on India Today, the authenticity and the dates of those images, cannot be authenticated at this point of time. But you're saying that there are standoff attacks that are taking place on military establishments and air bases. Is that correct? Can you tell us about the nature of these attacks?
Well, yes, the Ministry of the Defense of the Russian Federation, if anything, they've been very vocal and they've released pictures at any point in time, and they have reiterated numerously that there are no boots on Ukrainian ground. They're targeting military targets. They're targeting military infrastructure. To be precise, the strikes began early in the morning, as early as the military operation was announced. And so far, all of the pictures, actual pictures coming out of Ukraine that can be verified, just suggest exactly that. So the Ukrainian side, as per usual, are claiming that there are there's human loss amid the Russian army, which is preposterous because there's no actual proof, there are no images, there's literally zero proof of that would back any of those claims.
Okay, so there are claims and counterclaims, taking place. There's a great deal of fog of war that's already on. Big claims being made from the Ukrainian side. Which could be very much be part of what our correspondents on the ground have also said is for the domestic audience in Ukraine. At a time.
It's not just the audience, though, is it? I mean, Ukraine has been claiming war with Russia for 8 years.
Yeah, since
and
2014.
Actually scoring real funding from the EU, from the US. They've scored billions in cash for, on military aid, on just simply aid, all of that. Thanks to their numerous claims,
but none of those countries have done anything, have they? I mean, there's sanctions on on Russia, Tatiana. But is Russia expecting that any of these countries, the NATO, will actually do anything more than just sanctions?
Well, hopefully they won't. But again, unfortunately, I can't put words into the mouth of the president of the Russian Federation. But hopefully our European and our Western allies understand that if we say that this